everybody, my name is Davis and welcome back to another video, and today we're here for another severe weather breakdown. So let's go ahead and get right into it. Starting off with the SPC outlook for today, we have three different marginal risks of severe weather. One of them is up here in the New England states, one is here with the Carolinas as well as Georgia, and then one is here in the desert southwest region. So let's go ahead and break them all down for you right now. Now starting off with the tornado threat for today, we have two areas where we have a 2% chance to see a tornado today. We're going to have a lot of storms move through the northeast that are going to have a little bit of rotation on them, and it might cause a tornado or two, but I'd say there's even a higher likelihood down here near Texas and New Mexico that happens tonight, because some storms down here are expected to have a lot of rotation on them, so look out for a potential tornado tonight. If you're in Fort Stockton, Providence, Worcester, Springfield, Bridgeport, or New Haven, basically are the main cities. Damaging wind threat, we have three different 5% risks of damaging winds of 60 miles an hour or higher, so look out for that. Hail threat, we do have a risk here down in the desert southwest for hail of 1 inch or larger tonight. This includes Las Cruces, El Paso, Fort Stockton, Midland, probably the southern bit of Albuquerque, Phoenix, and Tucson, so look out for that for some potential hail tonight. Now moving on to tomorrow, we do not have any marginal risks as of right now, but somewhere we'll most likely get one at some point, somewhere in the light green most likely, so look out for that. Moving on to Friday, we already have a marginal risk here in the New Mexico, Texas region again, which has gotten pounded severe weather after severe weather days down here recently, so look out for that. Lubbock already under a marginal risk on Friday, which will probably get upgraded to a slight risk at some point, honestly. National Hurricane Center, obviously we've got Hurricane Lee here that is finally no longer a major hurricane. It felt like that took forever, and it is expected to go off towards the north and the east, but we're going to go ahead and break that down later in the video. Hurricane Margot here is just expected to be a fish storm, not hurt any people. Now, this disturbance is something that we have got to watch out for, like seriously. This has a 90% chance to form the next 7 days and a 70% chance to form the next 48 hours, and we don't know where it's going to go, but as you can see by this cone here, it kind of points to this heading somewhere near the mid-Atlantic region, so look out, guys. This one could be a serious one, especially since it has just such a high chance to form. You need to be looking out for that. Eastern Pacific, we do actually have a disturbance here that has a 70% chance to form the next 48 hours and an 80% chance to form the next 7 days, and this one could affect Hawaii. We've got two disturbances that could affect land, and we have a hurricane that's most likely to make landfall right now, so that's pretty crazy. This disturbance is most likely not going to form, as a 0% chance to form, it says. So moving on to the Climate Prediction Center here, 6 to 10 day temperature outlook, that is September 19th to the 23rd. Very above average temperatures here expected for the upper Midwest. You're going to get a late start to fall here. Above average temperatures expected here for southeast Texas as well. And then here in the western U.S., we've actually got a pretty big cold front moving through here. It's been sitting down here in the desert southwest for a while, but it's going to expand up into the northwest and even into the central plains a little bit, so look out for that, guys. You're going to see some pretty cool temperatures down here, but I know you guys aren't going to complain about that, because Death Valley was one of the hottest places, has been one of the hottest places ever recorded ever here this year, so yeah, just look out for that. I'd say maybe it's time to bust out the winter jacket. No, probably not. I'd like to say that, but it's always ridiculously hot down there, so you're probably not going to yet. Below average precipitation, I need to say 6 to 10 day precipitation outlook. Below average precipitation expected here for the Ohio Valley, the Northeast, as well as a little bit of the eastern Midwest, so look out for that. Drought conditions kind of continue here in this region. And then above average precipitation likely for a large chunk of the U.S. here. This extends all the way from like the desert southwest up into the Four Corner states, into the northwest, into the North Plains, into the Central Plains, Southern Plains, Midwest. It's a huge thing here, so yeah, even into the deep south just a little bit, so look out for some above average precipitation likely here in this region. Moving on to the 8 to 14 day temperature outlook here, we've still got our warm front sitting up here in the upper Midwest. In fact, it doesn't really change at all now, does it? I guess it moves off just a little bit to the east here, so more in areas of like Wisconsin and the UP, as well as eastern Minnesota. Expect well above average temperatures to continue all the way up until September 27th at least. This might stay here until October, guys, since it's not really showing any signs of moving. Same thing with this one here down in Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi. In fact, this one's just expanded. And then below average temperatures are still likely here for the western U.S., but have gotten a less likely chance at this point. 8 to 14 day precipitation outlook, once again, the 21st to the 27th. Above average precipitation still likely for a good chunk of the United States, but not nearly as big as it was before. And then below average precipitation is still expected here in the Ohio Valley, the Northeast, and the New England states. And guys, it says something if you're going to get below average precipitation in this region, because we have a hurricane coming in that is going to dump so much rain in this region, especially in parts of like eastern Maine. So if you're going to see below average precipitation, that means that after Hurricane Lee makes landfall, drought conditions for like a few weeks at least, honestly, guys. Like, it doesn't look good for this region up here. Luckily, it's not supposed to be too hot up there, but still, it's going to be something you need to watch out for. Watches, warnings, advisories. Our frost advisories have moved here, have expanded rather, into the UP and even the other part of Michigan here. So, upper Midwest, frost advisories, temperatures as low as 34 degrees Fahrenheit. Look out for that. That can freeze some plants, and it's just not going to be very nice to walk around in. We do have flood watches in effect here for some of the New England states, so look out. Flash flood warnings scattered across the country, really. Some severe thunderstorm warnings down here in Arizona. Would not be surprised if we get a severe thunderstorm watch down here in this region tonight, but I'm not sure how likely that is considering we only have a marginal risk of severe weather. It's just something that we're going to have to keep looking out for. We do have a red flag warning, like a singular red flag warning in effect here for southwestern Oregon, so don't be burning anything in that region. But yeah, finally moving on to the track for Hurricane Lee here. Right now, like I said earlier, it's a Category 2 hurricane just sitting here. It is going to it's going to make impact on Bermuda, but it's not going to hit Bermuda. Don't worry, you're not going to get the 100 mile per hour winds that Hurricane Lee will have by this point, because you're not actually in the cone of uncertainty, so you're not going to get the worst of it. But some high wind gusts still expected, maybe some high waves as well. So definitely look out here. You might get tropical storm force winds, but that's really no different from any other severe thunderstorm. Once it's a tropical storm by that point anyway. Moving off to the north here, this is where Hurricane Lee is going to go, and it is expected right now to make landfall somewhere either in Maine, New Brunswick, or Nova Scotia, and by this point it will only be a tropical storm, but it's going to have 60 mile an hour winds, so maybe some high waves, some very gusty winds, all the usual stuff, but it's also going to dump a ton of rain, which is what's the main concern with this. It's like whenever we had Hurricane Hillary a while back, the threat wasn't that it was a storm, it was that it was going to dump a ton of rain. Everybody was like, what? Hurricane Hillary wasn't that bad. In fact, it was only a tropical storm. We didn't get any winds at all. Yeah, but it dumped like 10 inches of rain in places that get that much rain per year, you know? Anyway, I'm done with my little tangent here. Moving on to the north and the east, is expected to go through other parts of Canada here and eventually reach all the way up to Newfoundland and Labrador as a 40 mile per hour storm, but that's just going to be kind of like a normal strong thunderstorm, so look out in this region for that, but it's nothing that you need to be worried about. And the time of impact for Hurricane Lee in the Maine, Nova Scotia region, New Brunswick region, is expected to be about 1 or 2, maybe 3 in the morning on September 17th, maybe a little later, maybe like 6 or 7 in the morning actually. So this morning of the 17th is when this thing is expected to make landfall here, so look out for that. Yeah, but that's pretty much it for today. If you guys did enjoy, make sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.